chat to someone else who knows the royals very
well.
There was
yes.
the vigil, of course, by the princes and the Princess Royal last night in Westminster Hall.
And then there'll be another vigil tonight by the Queen's grandchildren, all 8 of them. That's going to be quite something.
How is all this being handled, though, by the family, do we think? It's such a difficult situation for them. Let's talk to former Royal Butler Grant Harold, who joins us now. Good morning to you, Grant. I was just trying to find a message that someone sent. I can't just find it now, but it was saying Charles looks absolutely broken last night. And I think that's. I think a lot of us thought that he just looked absolutely broken as he paid his vigil last night.
I was personally quite shocked because when I saw him, he just looked like he's aged so much within the past week. But of course, this is what grief can do, and not only that, he's now taking the burden of monarchy, and I mean, look at, he's 73, and look at what he's just done in the last week. All the places he's been visiting, the meetings, the audiences. I actually know somebody that was with him a few days ago, and they said he just looked so tired. A few people have now said that to me, but I just think it's understandable. But I'm hoping that, I obviously heard that he'd returned to Highgrove, and I'm hoping that he got a few days, or I should say a few hours, not days, a few hours rest, because it's a lot to take on. As I said, it's not just losing his mother; it's having to carry on with that job now of being king.
I mean, you're speaking to us this morning from Highgrove. You've been Prince Charles's butler. Will you go on to serve him, or is that it now?
No, I'm very lucky that I live in a cottage on the estate. I mean, look, for me, it was an honour for the years that I was with him. I felt very lucky because when I looked after him, the wonderful part about my job was I also looked after Princes William, Harry and Catherine. And so for me, it was such I've always said it was a really special time to have that family more or less under one roof at one point. And so I feel, that I was lucky to be there at the time. It was a dream come true to work for the family. It was a dream come true to meet and look after the Queen, because that was an ambition I had as a youngster. So I feel, I'm lucky with my memories and very grateful for those.
Do you, like us, like a lot of people, think that the King has changed since taking on this mantle? His whole demeanour seems to have changed somewhat, certainly in public.
You're right. I thought that actually. I wasn't sure what it was. I wasn't sure if it's just. Again, I don't know if it's just suddenly this weight now on his shoulders. It is just something has changed, but I think this is part of the process, because remember, we've never seen this, have we? I mean, it's over 70 years since the late Queen's father passed, and she was obviously only 20, I think 26, 27. So she was young. And I think she kind of amazingly at such a young age took up that crown and carried on, where obviously her son is at the point where most people, once again, as we always said about the Queen, is at the point where most people have retired. But this is just the start.
Yes, and one wonders whether he will ever have the ability now to relax in the way you've seen him relax. For instance, you've seen him paint, and I think this is something we know very little of, but he does love painting, doesn't he?
He loves painting, and he also loves walking. He goes out for walks. I remember that often, especially up in Scotland, when I would have my afternoons off, and you'd go out and you'd sometimes bump into him, and painting. I mean, he would just find the most remotest place you can imagine and be very happy start doing his painting, which I should mention, those were, I don't know if they still are, but those were for sale, at one point. And I thought, how historic are those if you've actually got one of those, and whether he'll still have time to do that. I'm sure he will, but not in the same way